Yo, what's up? What's up? Welcome back. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to another episode of the Urban Renaissance Man. And I am your host, your MC, your game advisor for the night, Mr. Adrian Lawson. And I'm here ready to chop it up as usual. You know what? Today we're going to talk about interracial relationships. As the world, is becoming more liberal and open to new ideas and ideologies, you find more and more of these interracial relationships popping up. Prime example, we just had the beautiful wedding of the Duchess and Prince Harry, and they are a interracial relationship. I know people may say, well, she's not black or whatever, but she is. They are a interracial relationship. Now, my personal thing on the matter is that I don't really care who you date. I think you should be able to date whoever you want to, white, black, Hispanic, indifferent, as long as you maintain your self-identity. You get my drift? So as long as you remain who you are and don't try to change into something that you're not. If you can do that, then you're cool with me. The problem is that, though, you have a lot of people, men and women, when they get into these interracial relationships, there's always a lot of factors and things that these people who do these things have in common. Because here's the thing, understand. When it comes to women, when women get into relationships, period, they usually take on the ideologies of their mate. That's usually what happens. Because when a woman gets with a guy, she usually listens to him, usually. So she's going to inadvertently soak up some of his beliefs and his things that he believes in just on the conversations that they have. And this is very natural. This is a very natural thing. And this is something that many women do. Prime example, when you see a lot of white women who get with black men, do you notice that they always have a little extra jazz about them? Like, whenever these white women get with these black dudes, they'll be, doing the nay-nay and all that shit like that and dance. And what I'm saying? They'll have a little different little vibe about them. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing when black women get with white men. They'll kind of take on the ideologies of that person. As a prime example, there's this lady. Her name is Mia Love, and she's I think a Republican congresswoman or whatever. And she's married to this conservative white dude, and she's a Republican, and she's taken on a lot of these beliefs that he has. And I find this very common, especially with black women. A lot of black women who are married to white men in politics, most of them are Republicans, and they have very conservative viewpoints and ideologies. And it's because they have been around these men, and they have put these values into them. Because women in relationships are kind of like sponges, and they have got around these guys and they've kind of soaked up all of their things that they believe in, and so this is what they think is their beliefs. But the thing that's very interesting is when you have black men who get with white women. There's a very interesting dynamic. Like, whenever there's a black dude that only dates white women, they'll have a different little jazz about them too. Like, these niggas will be wearing, Patagonia and listening to Jason Aldean and shit like that. And they'll, especially when it comes to black people, they'll have viewpoints from the eyes of a white person. So they'll believe what white people believe in terms of black people about black people. Prime example is your boy Kanye. He's a prime example. I mean, he's got around all these white women, Kim, and here this nigga is talking about slavery was a choice. So, as you can see, this man has been around these people and they have been putting these ideas in his head. Because, years ago, Kanye was about it. Now, Kanye, to me, was even considered a conscious rapper. When his mom was alive and when, he was under some thorough dudes like Dame Dash and Jay-Z, Kanye was not saying no stupid shit like that. He was soaking up, and it was because he was soaking up game from guys like Kanye. And so that's the reason why he wasn't saying dumb shit like that. But then when he got around all these Kardashian women, as you can see, he changed for the worse. And this nigga on TMZ talking about slavery was a choice. So this is my point, when I say that. I say that you take on the persona of the person you're with. And this is very natural. And so this is why when it comes to, interracial dating, I say if you date interracially, you need to make sure you keep your same ideas and ideologies. And also, you have a lot of niggas out here who think that if they date white women, they're gonna somehow solve racism. Basically saying they're gonna solve racism with their dick. Which is kind of absurd because if you think about this, different white people, they have relationships with black people all the time, and they still practice, white supremacy racism. Prime example, Tommy Lauren. She's a conservative white woman, young lady, one of these Fox News bitches. And she has had relationships with non-white people. And she still gets on stage, on TV, and talks the same talking points that she had. And let's go back. Even during slavery, shoot, the slave masters had relationships with the black women. And once they got out of that bed, they went right back to practicing white supremacy. Come on, nigga, let's get whipped today. So don't think that just by getting with a person who is of another race, you're somehow going to solve racism because that's not true. And the issue also is when you have men and women who they're not just dating a person because they like them. They're dating them just because they're white. Like, even if you're saying the term, I only date white men, you got a little coon juice in you, because you shouldn't date somebody just based on what they look like. It should be about the relationship that you guys have. So that's why I say if you're going to date interracially, let it just be a genuine connection. It shouldn't have to do anything with color. Once you start bringing the issue of color up, that means you already have an issue or a problem within your own mind, and you're trying to project that on your relationship. So if you're gonna date, interracial, which is fine, do it just because you and this person have a genuine connection, and you shouldn't see color in it. It should just be about you and the person. Now, if you're doing it for those reasons and you maintain and stay true to who you are in your relationship, you should be fine. But dating somebody for a color, that's a no-no. And you need to get your ass checked out because you got some coon juice in you. You dig? But anyway, that's been today's episode of the Urban Renaissance Man. Remember, you can email me at the Urban Renaissance Man podcast at gmail.com, or you can follow me on Instagram at the Urban Renaissance Man. And I'm about to get out of here. Y'all be good. Peace.